Welcome, everybody. So, hey, can we get a round of applause for the businesses who have already presented up here before? You know? And so, because today we have some pretty cool businesses that are going to present for you guys, and I'll tell you all about them here in a second. First, I'm going to have to list off all our community partners. First, sure, the Midland Development Corporation for spearheading Founders Land. Second Story Coworking for being the idea originators for this and getting this going into the community. Then there's BAM Entrepreneurial Center, UT Permian Basin, Midland Chamber of Commerce, Film Hunter Media. Thank you, Film Hunter Media, for doing what you do, providing awesome videos, and Answers Marketing. So, how about our businesses? All right, so I'm about to tell you about two of the businesses that are going to present this morning. And so the two are going to be MORPH and Element14. We're going to start today off with MORPH, their Health Optimization Center. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about them, and then I'm going to ask ladies to come up front. So MORPH is a health optimization center focused on merging cutting-edge science, advanced labs, and individualized health plans to help the everyday person live better longer. MORPH was founded in 2022 by two women who have lived in West Texas for the majority of their lives in hopes to make a difference in how communities set the standards of health. Services range from advanced lab testing, a team of healthcare providers, IV and peptide therapy, and modalities that help implement changes in everyday life. The goal of MORPH is to help each person take their health into their own hands through education and the lifestyle that allows them to live better longer. So, everybody, please give a round of applause for MORPH as they make it up on the way to the front.
Okay. Thank you. Huh? Oh, clicker. Right here? Yeah. Okay.
Okay, good morning. My name is Alexis and this is Hetty. And thank you for letting us present this morning. There we go.
Okay, so we started MORPH in 2022. After COVID especially, we noticed there's a huge gap in people having the knowledge and knowing how their individualized bodies work. So they can prevent that future disease and not be so predisposed to other things. So I began practicing functional medicine, 10 years ago, 11 years ago, and had my own private practice. And then Alexis joined me in, 2020? When she left, she was working at in the ICU in Midland. And we brought it together and we just realized that the two of us together, she could head up IVs, injections, peptides, and things like that. And I cover more the advanced labs, genetics, the bio-individualized aspects of each person's body, so we can teach them how to best take care of their own bodies.
Okay, so the target audience, honestly, the simple answer is every single person. Everybody has a body, and most people do not really actually understand how it works. And kind of like if we do get certain either chronic diseases or how to prevent those diseases. So MORPH is for everybody, but also it's for the people who keep going to the doctor and they're saying that their labs look normal and they still don't feel their best, because I feel like a lot of people hear that. It is for individuals who, like their families especially, we see a lot of people who come in, they want to prevent things like Alzheimer's, dementia, because that's been in their family. And so invest, learn how to kind of work with more hereditary issues, things like that. We have anything that you can come in, you can do a quick cold plunge. So if you only have 10 minutes, you can go do that. I promise it will wake everybody up mid-afternoon crash. B12 shots, and then we see also a lot of tired moms and dads, but just a lot of tired parents who they want to do better for their family, be able to live better longer, to see grandkids, great-grandkids. So yeah, we see just about anybody.
Okay, so we were very intentional when we started MORPH, and we do really strive to treat everybody like family. When you come in, it doesn't feel super clinical. Obviously, we have the science side. We go very, very in depth, and we're big on education. So when we have labs, we put them out. We go over them for an hour. We're going to educate you, maybe a little more than you want to be sometimes, but we feel like it's important to know why you feel the way you feel in the future. And we just really want people to feel like family. We know about their kids, their parents. We get to know everybody really well. We are very science driven. In a time of just information overload, like you get on Instagram, you Google something, it's like, what should I be taking? What should I be doing? And it's overwhelming. You either get paralyzed or you spend all your money on a bunch of stuff you don't need. So we're able to cut through all of that information and tell you exactly what your body needs, how and why. Again, the education, we try to be very empathetic, listen well. We did win the Midland Entrepreneurial Challenge in 2024, and I do feel that we're very different than anything else in town. It brings a little something different to the area in that it is not diagnostic, it's prevention, it's optimization, and it's learning about your body.
And then like one of our really big things that we do is, so Hetty will do all of the advanced labs. So that's like your genetics, hormones, gut testing, all of that. And even a lot of our blood work is really advanced. And so we can take those exact results and we know exactly what nutrients, what our clients need. So it's not like you're just running into somewhere and grabbing $400 worth of supplements that you don't even know it's going to work. You know, we're really, really big on each body is different, each person is different. And so you have to treat each person differently. You know, we're not all the same. And so I think that is a really big thing that we recognize, and we want people to know that what might work for you, whether it's diet, exercise, health plan, it's not going to work for somebody else. And it shouldn't be, because we're all different. So I think that's kind of a big thing too. Okay, so growing, right now we are wanting to start like a podcast or some kind of media thing in the next 3 months. That has been on our mind a lot lately. Again, you get on social media, there is information overload, and there are thousands and thousands of opinions. And what we hear a lot from people who are coming into our space is they finally feel heard, but they also feel like somebody was actually real with them. Like, this is what you need. You know, it's not, and I think that is something that Hetty and I are very passionate about. It's not like we don't want to sell you everything. We literally, our passion is we want to just teach you and to help you. Like, our biggest thing when people come to us and they're like, my life's completely changed, all of this, like I've learned so much, like that is the best thing in the world. And so getting accurate information is also very important to us, because we do have really good knowledge. I mean, Hetty's been doing this for, like she said, 10, 11 years. I come from like an ICU background to conventional medicine, which I still love and respect. So growing those two things together and being able to produce like free information to people. And we also really need any excuse to read research or articles, and like that's how we learn too. And then we have been wanting to, and it has been in the plans to expand MORPH into other locations in surrounding areas. So it would be really beneficial for something, of course, in Odessa, maybe like a small storefront in Big Spring, just really getting these opportunities for everybody in surrounding areas as well. Okay, pain points.
You have to take them?
Yep.
Okay, so pain points of growing, and probably just pain points for all of us. Fighting burnout when you own a business, balancing that family life aspect can be difficult. In our areas especially, finding a good space can also be something in terms of growing that has been a little difficult. I think we haven't figured out, but that is hard. Finding your people, that's both in clients as well as people like employees. Finding people that have the same passion, that want to work, who love what we do, because we are very niched. You know, we work with everyone, but we take a very specific approach. And then again, that work-life balance, like that's probably the hardest, I'd say, for me.
And then for like me personally, like finding people, it's like, it's not even that, because whenever you start a business, you own it, like that is your life, like that is your priority. It is now your family's priority, and whether they realized it or not, but it's also like the friendships that you had at one point. Like for me personally, I have not been able to be as present as I used to be, or be as social as I used to be, because like my life right now is starting this, like this is what we do. And so it's like finding that support group that it's like, hey, I can't meet again every week for dinner or for coffee because I'm busy. And like finding those people, those core people in your personal life that actually understand that. And I think that has been kind of a challenge as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. All right, sorry, I think we kind of like zoomed through that. Anybody have questions? Okay, yes.
So are you the same kind of working system as Remedy Pain and Solutions, another place in town?
As Remedy?
Yeah.
No, I would say we're vastly different, wouldn't you? Yeah, so we are, if I'm not mistaken, Remedy is a little more in the med spa side of things. Would you not agree?
Yeah, I think they just have like a lot of machines. Like they have a lot of different machines. I know that one of the owners, sorry, can y'all hear me? Yeah. Okay. I know that one of the owners, he,
I don't.
yeah. Might kind of intimidate me a little bit. But he does a lot of like pain management. And so like we don't do, I mean, our pain management is like getting a cold plunge. We can work on inflammation, peptides, things like that. So yeah, I think theirs is very machine based. And then they actually just moved in
It's like a block.
like a block over from us, and yeah, so they're great, great people, but I think it's a little bit different of who goes where, because all of our stuff too is like people come for labs, and then everything else is just based on those labs too.
And I actually used to work alongside them. So we were in the same space a few years ago.
Okay.
And so, yeah, ours is very individualized in that we look at genetics, we look at labs. We do have other providers in the space, which we did not mention, which we probably should, like stretch therapy and massage therapy and a chiropractor, things along those lines. We have about, 5,500 square feet. So it's a pretty large center. So once people can come in and do anything, but if they run labs, do genetics, then we individualize everything within the space to them. So it is.
Where are you located?
We are on G Street and Wall. So it's 102 South G Street as you're going downtown.
So what are y'all doing for brand awareness and marketing?
Brand awareness and marketing. That's probably another growth issue right there. We were really good at it for a while, and recently we have been overwhelmed. But I'm not even gonna lie, I think that's true. Used to actually social media fed, at least when it was just me way back when, I could control everything with social media. If I posted a lot, my schedule was full. If I needed to slow down, I'd slow down posting. And that's kind of how we handled it. But brand awareness, we do have social media people. What else, Alexis?
I think honestly with that, like I said, the burnout, everybody kind of, I think, hopefully experiences it in certain other areas. It's not just us. But because we are in health and wellness, and I don't even like saying like health and wellness, but that's what it is essentially. You go on social media and I promise you, you are going to get 50,000 opinions of either you're doing this wrong and like you're not healthy at all, so you might as well just stop. Or like if you have one bad meal, how dare you? And it's so either one side or the other. So whenever we go on social media, it is literally like our brains, we're just like, we just want people to just know what to do for themselves. And it feels like that because also with us, it's very authentic when you go in, and it never wants to be like a sales thing. We really believe like your body, medicine, health, like that is way too serious than just like a sales pitch essentially. So our social media too, it's like, we don't want to just sell you things. We want to educate you, but I don't know, that is one of the struggles right now.
Yeah, I think you guys are in the right place. Burnout is probably pretty common.
Yeah, okay, good. I mean, sorry for everybody with burnout, but we're not alone.
It sounds to me like you're maybe more in kind of the biohacking space.
Really, my question is more, are you kind of a membership model or on demand, or how did you kind of settle on it?
Okay, so we have a few different ways about going through the system. So I always do free info sessions if people want to know. So they come in, we do a free info session, and then we give them an individualized proposal of what would be best for them. So we do have some memberships if that serves someone. But at the same time, you can come in and you can get a cold plunge membership, or you can just cold plunge. You can get a membership where you get discounted IVs, you cold plunge, and you get an injection. As far as the lab side of things, usually people start there. We are not a membership in terms of that. You come in, you do new client onboarding, we run labs, we do results, and then we kind of determine what would best serve you. So even in that side of things, it's very individualized. We've just found that some people, memberships work better, some people need deep dives and they're done. It just depends on what's going on. Yeah.
A la carte type of basis.
Absolutely. We just build it for you together. We work
Personalized.
together. Yeah, 100% personalized.
It's a good model.
So, just a quick question on your DNA research. Are you guys doing that in-house, or is that like,
Are you asking if it's, if we run the DNA in-house? Yes, we do. So with the DNA, that's always a big question we have too, is in terms of security, all of that good stuff. We do use the most secure clinical system. Nothing is stored that way. And oftentimes when people ask, I mean, because we are not a medical facility, I'm like, you want a fake name? We'll give you a fake name. You know what I mean? Because it's for your own knowledge. They're not using it for that reason. We do 150 million different variants when it comes to DNA. And then I manually go through it, so it's not automation necessarily like online. And then you get like a 180-page book. So that part is very in-depth, and it's both like a right now protocol to help you with issues, but also that longevity protocol, how to prevent that chronic disease. It's a little different.
Sorry,
Yes.
sorry, I'm muted. So you said you started about 10, 11 years ago. What
Yes.
were you doing prior to starting this?
Okay, so this is where it gets interesting. So I was in my previous life, I used to live in LA as a wardrobe stylist. Once I had children, I had a children's clothing line, but I had a child that had a lot of health issues. And so we couldn't get answers anywhere, and I went back to school, and that's when I did more of the biochemistry and genetics and all of that good stuff, and then started working this way because I just felt it shouldn't be so difficult to get labs when we want them to find answers. And to find really what we do is we work from a cellular level down. So instead of like an organ system, we're starting up, we're feeding those cells, we're making sure everything's healthy. And so that's why I went back to school. But I do think owning the business previously in fashion did help when I went out on my own. So it's a weird education that I have.
Yeah, journey is sometimes not what we would expect.
Life takes you different places.
Yes, sir.
Do you accept insurance?
We cannot accept insurance because we are not diagnostic. We can do payment plans, we can do HSAs and FSAs, all of that good stuff. I will tell you, my theory on this is that I'm glad we can't take insurance for genetics because I don't think that needs to be known by insurance, what you're predisposed to. So there is some of that as well. It's not always good for all of us, you know.
Ricky.
On your cold plunge, give me the rundown on that, like memberships and all that stuff.
Okay, so the cold plunge. Hours. Okay, so typical hours are 9 to 5, but for example, we have some people who were in town and they said, hey, can I come cold plunge at 7 a.m.? And one of our lovely, lovely girls was up there bright and early at 7 a.m. So if it is something like that, we try to accommodate. Cold plunge. So memberships, I think unlimited is $65 a month, and that comes with 1 free B12 or 1 free immunity shot, and then you get 10% off all like IVs or other injections. If you haven't done a cold plunge, you really need to. I know it sounds scary, but it is absolutely life-changing, and it will wake you up, and it is probably better than a cup of coffee, and I have way too much coffee, so I'm saying that. So it's a thing.
Yeah, so maybe I missed it, but where did the name MORPH kind of derive from?
Okay, so I've had MORPH in my head for probably 12 years, and way back when, we don't say this now, but way back when it stood for Midland opting to reclaim personal health. So it was a little play on it. And when we opened it, we were just like, MORPH, it works. So that's just been something, I don't know, that we've had going for a long time.
So you can play with acronyms.
Absolutely,
Probably
yeah.
all kinds of different
Plays around,
variations
yeah.
of it.
Absolutely.
Audrey.
First of all, congratulations for the challenge.
Thank you.
Second off, well, I just found my mom has dementia, and you mentioned something about dementia. What was the biggest steps for me to take? Because right now, I am stressed, non-foods. People don't know what you go through when someone has dementia. So what would be my first steps if I come to you, when you give me advice on what do I do?
For you specifically?
Yes, for me, and then if you, would y'all have advice for my mom? Would she come in with me, or how would that work?
So with dementia, there are always ways, again, because we start more cellularly, I always say to move that needle. Does that make sense? So, making sure metabolically, inflammation, all of these different things really can move the needle just to optimize their health in general. We also have peptides that do help with neurodegeneration. You get into that. And inflammation and the inflammatory processes. So there's a few different types of dementia and what's driving it specifically. And so that changes the way we handle the optimization aspect. In terms of you, I will tell you really quickly, both of my grandmothers passed away from dementia, and it is awful. It's not in my genetics, which does not mean that I won't get it if I don't take care of myself. But sometimes genetics and things like that is such a relief because you assume the worst, You assume you have that, and you may not. But if we were to see it, what we would do is, I think it's like 12,000 genes we look at to see your predisposition for different types of cognitive decline and Alzheimer's. And then I go through those individual genes that you might have mutations in. Not to get too sciencey here, but there are all these biochemical pathways, and you can tweak those genes. You can support them differently. So we can see your predisposition and like the percentage that you are, and then we come up with a really good protocol. Here are the labs you need to run yearly to make sure you're preventing based on your body. Here are the things you can take. It's very extensive, but there's a lot you can do. As far as dementia and or chronic disease, can we prevent all of it? No. But if we know how our body works, our chances of getting those things are so much lower. And so that's a lot of it. Okay.
Okay, great. So I just want to touch on your pain points, right? So your first and last one, right, was burnout, fighting burnout, and then work-life balance. Right, that should get a chuckle out of everybody here, right? I mean, so obviously it's a pain point for a lot of people, like y'all said. So do y'all have like recommendations to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning, jump in the ice?
You do burnout, I'll do work-life balance. How about that?
So I used to be somebody who was very rigid. I would do 5:30 a.m. cycle classes, and I felt like I had to have everything figured out. Then MORPH started, and realized quickly that that is not what it's like. So for me personally, it was like letting go of the expectation that just because I don't have one time, or I don't even have a desire to do a 12-step morning care routine, that's just not who I am right now in this season of life, and letting that expectation go. And some mornings I wake up and you drink your whole Stanley, and then you have your cup of coffee, you're having breakfast, but then honestly sometimes you're up out of bed, you're barely making your alarm, and you have to get to the office. And so I think for me, because I place a lot of expectations on myself, which I'm pretty sure a lot of us do, it was learning to be like, you know what, some days, some seasons, some quarters in business, things are going to be a little bit more hectic, and I just have to kind of meet myself where I'm at. And I think that was a big learning point for me. There is no strict, rigid routine. Now I will say I prioritize a lot. Working out is my outlet. So I do think it is very important, whether that is your outlet is going on walks, reading, sitting and watching your favorite Netflix show, to something that takes your mind off of work. That is my biggest, whether it's one thing or a few things, but no routine. I do not get in the ice bath at 5 a.m. Absolutely not.
know yourself.
Yeah, know yourself. Yeah.
I also think that most of us that own businesses, I can be wrong, but we're the type that like work until we hit a wall. And then we're like dying, we need a break. So I've made a conscious decision to put vacations, even if I stay home, vacations in my schedule that are mandatory, because I have a tendency to be workaholic. So that is something I've done, it's just a non-negotiable. I have to take off certain days. I also make my schedule where I have client days and I have work days so I can kind of breathe. I have 4 daughters, so work-life balance for me can be a little funky, and they range from 5 to 19. So work-life balance is always a struggle. I have to have a really good team around me. People that can help pick up my kids, that I trust and who my kids love and who I love. Sometimes my mom goes and cooks dinner for us if I'm running late. I'm very blessed in that area. I don't think I could do what I do. Back up. I could not do what I do if I did not have a team around me that helps me. And then making sure, again, the vacations with my kids, making sure I never miss anything at school, which is a benefit of owning a business, honestly. I can block their schedule in my schedule. I'm able to be there and giving myself grace, because I can't do everything, you know? We just can't. So
I think that's the perfect place to end it. You know, not one individual, we can't do everything on our own. Right? We need other people. Right? Well, I'm glad you guys are here. Glad to learn about y'all. Give them a round of applause.
Got some presents for you. And here, Alexis.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank y'all.
All right. Give them another round of applause. That was pretty cool. I know a lot of us here hit that wall quite often, and how do you avoid hitting the wall? You know, is it a wall or is it rock bottom? I hope it's not rock bottom, but there's a lot of walls on the way to rock bottom, so take care of yourself. So, next, I'm proud to introduce Element14. Josh Hernandez is a dynamic serial entrepreneur and technology leader with a diverse portfolio of ventures. As a founder and president of Anubis, a strategic technology consulting firm that empowers businesses to leverage cutting-edge solutions for competitive advantage, and co-founder of Element14, a pioneering digital entertainment hub in West Texas. Josh bridges the worlds of technology and creative innovation. With over 15 years of experience in the oil and gas industry, Josh has honed his skills in engineering, technology management, and business development. His expertise extends beyond his own ventures. As an active board member and investor, he contributes his insights and resources to shaping the future of various industries and founders. A father of 2 amazing boys, Josh balances professional pursuits with personal growth, embodying the values of creativity, empowerment, and integrity in both spheres. His mission is to create environments, be they business or entertainment, where technology empowers individuals to express their authentic selves and realize their full potential. Join us and welcome Josh Hernandez, a multifaceted entrepreneur who is not just building businesses, but shaping the future where technology, creativity, and human potential converge to tell everyone's unique story. Welcome, Josh.
Thank you, ChatGPT, for that intro. My name is Josh Hernandez. I'm from a city you guys are probably familiar with. It's in Texas, and it's West Odessa. I born and raised in West Odessa. I grew up here, went to school, Texas Tech University, mechanical engineering degree. I told everybody, including my parents, I'm never coming back. This is the last time you'll see me. And sure enough, got sucked back into the oil and gas industry. I've had great opportunities. My first company that I worked for was Pro Petro Services, which is a local company here. When we first started there, we had 1 frac fleet, grew it all the way up to 27 fleets, went through an IPO process, got to see some interesting things in that 12-year journey. But that's kind of my work side. Who am I? I'm that kid that used to get in trouble as a young kid. My parents used to buy me toys all the time. And they'd come back in a couple of weeks and they see the toys broken apart, things spread out everywhere. And they're like, what happened to the stuff we just bought you? And then I'd be like, hey, look. And I would merge things together, just wire them up and create like a toy that I wanted based on all the toys that they had. And so I was also the guy that would get into the TI-83 calculators. I don't know if you guys remember those things. But I saw this game called Block Dude. And my mom got mad at me because I stayed up hours and hours just coding that game into a little computer, into a little calculator. So I just had that bug in me forever. Hopefully this presentation is a little bit different format, but I wanted to start off with how the idea of Element14 came to be. The first image is just a set of weights. I came out of Crunch Fitness here in Midland, and it just came up to my head. I said, big cities have a gaming place, a place for people to game, a place for people to engage in like a YouTube, TikTok, all this digital world. And Midland, Texas, West Texas doesn't have anything like this. So 2 feet from my car, I call my now co-founder Jonathan and I say, hey, let's open something here in Midland that is around gaming, around music, around digital entertainment as a whole. And he said, all right, let's do it. What do we need to do? And I said, I have no idea. So let's figure this out. So we spent probably the next 2-3 months forming the LLC, doing all the basic things. This personally was my largest challenge because all of my previous business and my current business has all been B2B, right? I've just worked business to business only. I've never had a storefront or gone directly to consumers, so it's a whole new world for me. And so we started the business in April of 2021, but we did not open the doors to the public till February of 2023. And with that, the challenges that we went through was the construction part. We found a space that we loved. We had the architectural drawings. We had everything in place. We're gonna crush it. We're opening in 3 months. Landlord calls us, hey, we're gonna have to move you because our tenant that's been here for 13 years gets first rights to that space. So you're gonna have to move to this area. And of course, our architect was like, are you crazy? Like, we just spent all this time building this for you guys. And so obviously we went from opening in 3 months to opening in almost a year and 3 months. Now, granted, that's 8 months of rent we had to pay with no revenue coming in. So my next challenge was, okay, this is a great idea, but I don't have any money. So how do I do this, right? I can put up enough money, but I'm not gonna have enough to have the working capital to do all the CapEx and everything involved. I've heard this thing called raising money. I don't know anything about it, so I spent a ton of time talking to really great friends of mine. What is the process? This was gonna be my first capital raise ever. And so I had to create a deck, had to speak to over 100 investors, and I was able to raise the capital and close the seed round within 4.5 months, just on an idea. So they just had an idea, they believed in it as much as we did, and they cut the checks. And the thing I learned is the deal's never closed, so the money's in the bank. We had our initial investor who committed to $250,000. And from the delay of our lawyers getting the paperwork to him was about 1.5 months, and his mind changed and reduced to $100,000. So just a note is always have the paperwork in your hand when you close the deal. The other challenge is new. We're a new space, new concept, new thing, even to myself. This is just something that is not normal here in West Texas. And so there's a lot of challenges that go with that. Branding, getting the message out there, what we are, what we do. It's a big challenge for us. Unanticipated items. I don't know if you guys recognize the guy on the right side. That's DJ Sushiro and DJ Brian. You probably see them at Fairden, Midland, and he's open for like Little John and a few different places. So the microphone represents karaoke. We spent the majority of our time being a gaming center where people come in you rent out a station and you game for a certain amount of time. And what we noticed was that people that are not gaming and not into gaming, they're just bored out of their mind. So they're on their phones, they're doing things, and they're like pulling away our customers, right? Because they're like, all right, it's time to go. And so we ended up doing a karaoke night, and that was probably our best night that we had. It ended up being where the people that weren't gaming ended up telling the people that were gaming, like, we're gonna stay here for like another 2 hours. And you're singing, you're coming up on the stage. So that was something that we've now built on. We had our first Sushi and Friends event, which was a DJ night filled with multiple DJs that aligns with our brand, because these DJs are all new. They've never played publicly before, so it's just kind of like getting their reps out, meeting people. The books represents the learnings. I underestimated the value of talking to peers. I always kind of grew up like, this is my thing, this is my IP, I don't want to give you my ideas. And I think the most value has come from talking to people who do something similar. We've spoken to people in Atlanta that have been successful, to see what it looks like at scale, in New York, in Boston, Colorado. And we've learned a tremendous amount and implemented some of the learnings into our own space. And the final one is probably one of my favorite. We built a relationship with the local colleges, or the colleges around Texas and Oklahoma. We invited Texas Tech University to come participate at one of our gaming tournaments. And I promise you, the amount of UT fans was overwhelming in that space.
Yes.
And so we had people that were walking up to they were playing at the PCs, but people were walking up, with the horns up. They're like, Texas Tech is terrible, So we saw that competitive nature, and we decided to just keep building that relationship with the colleges. And now we're looking to do multiple events with the colleges here this fall. Why not Midland? I think this encompasses Midland as a whole. So you don't see gaming on there, digital music production, podcasting, YouTube, TikTok. So none of that stuff exists on this map. And so that was part of the challenge for me personally as an entrepreneur is how can Jonathan and I bring something to a city that is built on these fundamental items that this is seen in bigger cities. We're energy specific and we love football.
Yeah.
And so we've worked very hard to educate the community. What is gaming? What is TikTok? What is YouTube? What are all these things that our next generations really embrace and enjoy? But like I said, I think that question is more like, why not? Why not Midland? We're a big enough city in a small space, but we're a great city with a lot to offer. Struggles, obviously the first one was the build out, but now what we're seeing is we've now been open. We opened our doors in February 23, so we're now about a year and a few months, and we've gathered a ton of data. We've seen a lot of things happen in our space, and we're realizing that the way our layout is set up is not functional for scale. And so we're kind of limited because we're leasing a space that we had to completely change. And if you guys don't know, we're right next to Blue Door and Golf Headquarters, who we took that previous spot. And so we had to do a lot of renovations. We had to kind of force our way in and make it fit, make it work. And now we're seeing that we've outgrown some spots, we're underutilizing some spots, and it's very hard to maneuver when you're kind of boxed in a certain frame. And then marketing. We all think we're marketers until we're marketing, and Canva is not the answer. So, yeah, I mean, we thought posting was the way to go. We thought that, having content out there, we thought that cool images, cool videos, and all this stuff would get us to the finish line. It does not work. So we are now focused on engaging with the marketing group, preferably somebody local, so we are looking, that can really, I think, communicate to us as the ownership, like what is the strategy, and make me understand like what the purpose is behind each item. And we love to work with anybody. I will say that what's been successful for us has been things like this, doing cross collaboration. So we've actually worked with the Midland Run Crew, we worked with other organizations here, and you bring their audience with you. And so that helps us tremendously because then they follow you and then they invite somebody and it just builds that chain organically. Plans, we have a picture of corporate people. We want to kick off this fall as well, team building events for corporate companies. And we've had people actually come out and ask us, and we've helped them, but we noticed that we're getting more and more asks. Like, hey, can we bring our team here? Can we do a game? Can we do something collectively as a group? And we've had so many asks, we're like, why don't we build this into the model? Why don't we offer this as a service? And so we're really putting some time into that and trying to expand that service into our offerings. That's it. Thank you guys. Thank you.
Wow, yeah, give it for Josh. Man, Josh type of guy, always learn something new about him every time I talk to him. That's a talent.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, so I have so many questions. A lot, right? So we need to talk after. But does anybody have any audience questions for Josh?
Why the number 14?
That's a great question. Element14 is actually the element of silicon. And so the quality of your electronics and your computing and all that is based on silicon and the quality of the silicon. It may not be the long term, but we really like the logo after we built it, and we're just kind of running with it as far as we can. But that was the premise of it is silicon is like the base and the core of all electronics.
Super cool.
So I know you mentioned working with colleges and things like that. Are there plans with like the secondary, like the high school? I know there's robotics and things like that. Maybe is that your next target audience to maybe bring them in as well?
So with the local high schools, we feel like we have to be the champions of what we do. We were very close to getting one of the local high schools to the finish line and starting their actual esports program, but it got all the way to the superintendent's desk and they missed the deadline to actually sign it into an organization. So we did everything in our power to put together, the plan and everything for them and educate. But I think that we have to do a better job as a business to help the community on the high school side and really just educate the higher ups, like what is esports, where's the future going. I think something that we really got excited about is the Olympics announced that the next Olympics will actually have an esports competition. So this will be the first Olympics that you can actually compete in gaming. And so I think that will help the local school system, embrace it a little bit more and really just put some time and effort behind it. So I don't know if that answered your question.
Eric here. I have a question about your, when you did your market viability study, your competitive analysis, really, what were the two things you learned? Like what excited you the most about starting Element14 when you did that competitive analysis? And what was one of the things that kind of worried you, I guess, the most about your competitive analysis that you had to be prepared for?
Okay.
A market like this.
Yeah, so the question was, when we did the market analysis, what did we like the most about the market and what did we get kind of fearful of in the market? I would say the thing we got most excited about was that one of the companies that we're invested in, they had this pitch deck and they showed the growth of gaming in the past 5 years, and the revenue numbers of gaming versus the Super Bowl in football gaming has already passed Super Bowl numbers. So in my head, I was like, there's something here. Is it a Europe thing? Is it a local thing? Like what is this? And I think that attracted to us, and just kind of seeing like their exit, they're out of Boston, but seeing them and what they do really excited me about like the potential that it could have And so it's more of a mentor and experiential component to it. Fear is an easy one for me to answer. They call them LAN cafes, and every LAN cafe, to my knowledge, has failed. There's only been a few successful ones. Local GG is a large one, but they're backed by a large group and they have, big pockets. But just speaking candidly and back to the research or speaking to other peers, they're like, your lifespan is about a year to 2 years if you continue down the same business model. And I think that's what's encouraged us this past year is to change the model, because I believe that, I think when it comes to timing, I think the timing's not now, but you gotta survive till the time is right. And so that's our belief and that's our strategy, is to survive and be there till when the time is right. We'll be the first ones with the brand.
Yeah, I'm so glad you said that, because that what was in my head, the question I was gonna ask you, timing, right? Timing is everything. I know you're paying attention to more than most people right now, but what's going on right now, the chip wars, right? The global chip wars and AI, making the hardware for the chips. So that's gonna completely change the hardware that you have now, right? Once it comes up, especially, I don't know how many years from now or months, as fast as things are going, when that quantum computing comes in contact with the AI, how does that change your business?
I love the question because I love AI. So in my other business and new business, we do a ton of technology consulting, and the question we always ask our clients is, when does the AI model end and when does a business model start? And I think a lot of people build their business within that AI model, but that exposes you to like the larger players, like an OpenAI can come in and just build a feature that does what your business does. So how do you find that point at which the model ends here and it becomes a strategic advantage for your business moving forward? I don't know if that answers the question.
Well, that's a great point. In my consulting, I do the same thing, right? Because we're trying to get businesses to leverage AI, right? But it's just not about using AI and, problem solved, right? You still have the real life hard reality of business, right? It's just AI is just helping you along that, right? But what I was asking you is your computing, right? So that's your main focus, right? The rest of it's just to bring them in, to keep them there, right? So the core of your business is the gaming. So where do you see the gaming going in that direction?
Gaming specifically, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Claude, CLAUDE.ai. We spent some time this weekend on there, but what's pretty cool is my kiddos and we spent some time building a Roblox game from scratch. I know nothing about coding, just the basic stuff. And we spent probably 8 to 9 hours, and it's just fascinating to see that an AI model can build you a game. You have it in your head and it's able to build it there. So I'm wondering if the future of gaming is more of a democratized approach where you build your own ideas and concepts into something, and then the rest of the world gets to maybe embrace like your idea and go from there. So it's like a community of your own ideas that you can now build, where it's just like the apps, as another example too, is I know everybody sitting in this room has an app that's come to their mind and like, I wish there was an app for that.
Yeah.
That exists now and it will get better and better over time.
So you're talking about like a virtual reality Midland.
Exactly. Yes.
Wow. Okay, that's super cool. I can ask you questions all day long here. Anybody else have something? Yes, sir. Out the back.
I actually got one. You're saying that you were struggling getting some people in with social media and other stuff like that. Well, current trends are showing that people on the age of 40, about 75% of adults play video games at least an hour a day. And that increases to about 89% whenever it goes below the age of 30. So how do you feel like you could be able to bring in the new clientele and target those compared to the ones that aren't already there? So what's your plan for that?
Okay, so this is more on the growth of the audience that are specific to gaming, is that right?
Well, the studies I was referencing came out from Stanford and from Harvard, shows that adults under the age of 45, 75% of them game at least an hour a day. Whenever you go drop that down to 30, because we know Midland itself is a young population, it jumps up to about 89%. My question is, how do you plan on bringing people in or keeping the word out?
That's a good question. Our focus at the beginning was around the youth, and it changes so much, the gaming market for them. I mean, my kiddo plays one game for like a little bit, and then tomorrow he's playing another one, and then tomorrow he's playing another one. And so what I see on the 25 and up range is like they play one game and they're committed to it. It's like Madden, it's FIFA, it's, you know, League of Legends, it's whatever it is. But I think the magic is, one thing that I enjoy about Element14 is when you see a parent and a child playing together and like connecting. And we've seen that so many times where a great friend of ours, him and his son, they rarely get to play together, even at home. Like he's always in the room playing and you know, he's off doing his own thing. And when they come to Element14, they sit next to each other, they game, and it becomes like the son or daughter saying, hey, you know, let's go play at Element14, and then just seeing the look on their eyes and like the excitement to be able to play with my dad, my mom, my cousin, my aunt, whoever it may be. I think seeing that and like really just building upon that will help us gain the future generations, because they'll bring their friends, they'll build that community, they'll bring their friends, and yeah, I just think just building the community around the enjoyment and experience of playing next to each other in person.
I think that's what I said, community connection, right? Because, you know, we get so far into this digital world that we do forget about the humanity of it, right? So to bring that back and to make that physical connection, I think that's going to go a long way for you. One more thing I wanted to ask you is your fundraising, right? If you give business owners out here look into raising capital, you know, you mentioned one tip, hey, have your paperwork ready, right? Would you say go ahead and talk to a lawyer off the bat, get your paperwork ready? What do you like? Know what you want? You know, tips for that.
I'm happy to share. So in the raise side, I found myself spending a lot of time on the deck back in Canva. I spent a lot of time, you know, making this a perfect font, making this a perfect message, using AI to get everything just perfect. But when you talk to that's another thing. When you talk to the investors, make sure you find the right investors as well. We actually had to turn down 5 investors who had the money, they had everything, but they just didn't fit. It didn't feel like they would fit to what we're trying to achieve. And so it's a very hard thing to say no to money when you need the money, when it's an important component. And in that moment when I sit there and I'm sitting in front of this investor, you know, I'm excited, I've got my deck, I've got my phone, I've got my iPad, and I pull it up, and I think there was maybe one investor that actually looked down at that deck that I spent hours and hours and hours of time. The entire time they're looking at me. Do I believe in you? And are you going to bring your vision to reality? And I was told this by one directly. He's like, I bet on the jockey and not the horse. And so I think if you really believe in what you're doing and they see the resilience in you, that you're not going to give up when things get very hard, when it gets late at night, when everybody's telling you you need a balanced life, work-life balance, and you're like, no, I got to get this thing to the finish line. Like, I'm on a mission. I think if they see that in your eyes, they're going to believe in you more than whatever your deck can show. And so my learnings is always have your paperwork ready. That includes your OA, your operating agreement, your subscription, you know, the different documents necessary, and your pro forma, which basically says if I'm an investor, I'm putting in X amount of dollars in exchange for what? What do I get in return? And so the way we structured ours candidly, you come in at a certain percentage for whatever unit so if I put in, let's just call it $100,000, in exchange you get 5% of the company. But my commitment was, when I get you your money back into your pocket, your equity dilutes by 50% and it goes back to me. So it incentivizes you as an owner. If you want to gain more equity, you've got to get them their money back. And that can be structured in many different ways, but that's just the way we structured it. And that is the slide that they will look at, is what do I get for my money? And I think if you can describe to them how they're going to get that money and how long till they get the return, I think that's important to be able to communicate.
That's a great answer, man. Got one more question, Sean.
So just real quickly, to tie back into MORPH, we won the Midland Development Corporation Entrepreneurial Challenge, which goes towards starting and existing companies. Have you considered taking part in the Midland Development Corporation Entrepreneurial Challenge? It can help you refine your business plan, put you in touch with local business owners, give you more access to the people that you're trying to develop as customers, and it's online. So it's a really good tool, and I think you could talk to more people about how that process went through. But there's so many people that want it, and it's free. But
All right, this is a great story here.
that's coming from a banker
Yeah.
who's trying to get you some free money.
So Kim, a beautiful girlfriend, she can attest to this because she was in the truck with me. I actually participated in the challenge last year, and my ego's a little bloody still. So we went through the entire challenge. We got to the very, I think, second to last round before you present to the group. Candidly, we came in, we saw what the requirements are. Like, this is like what the boxes you have to check to be a winner. I'm like, oh, we got this in the bag. Like, new to Midland, this unique, and I'm like, oh, this is easy. Like, and then you get into it, you start building the plan, and it's a very humbling experience because you have to communicate in a very simple manner what you do, how you do it, and how you're going to succeed. And in that process, I learned a ton, but I do remember getting the email, and she opened it up and she read it, and I could see by the reaction on her face we didn't make it to the next round. So put some rock music on, and yeah, we're gonna do it again though. We'll be back because we've learned quite a bit from that time. We actually took that and implemented some of the feedback from the judges into our business, and we feel that we have a bit more confidence and a bit more, just a better thought and approach this time around. But yes, it's a great challenge, and I recommend anybody who hasn't done it. It is a great challenge.
Awesome, awesome. Well, that's our time. Thank you so much, Josh. Congratulations.
Thank you, guys, brother. Talk soon, bro.
All right, everybody. Give it a round of applause for our presenters today. We want to thank you to everyone who came today. This is your first time Founders Blend. We're glad you came. Remember, please fill out that QR, the information, so we know that you came, so we can reach out to you again. Let you know all the great things Founders Blend is doing. And for you to present, we'd love to hear your business. So get in line, because there's a lot of great businesses here. So we're going to be back here in September, right here at UTBC building, Wednesday, September 4th. All right, so come back. Find out about new businesses, get some coffee, and then we have a couple of community announcements here. So Second Story Coworking, they're a sponsor here for Founders Blend, is offering a free co-working day every third Tuesday of the month. This kicks off Tuesday, August 20th. So find Art, Kelly, or Brian here for some more information on that. If you don't know about Second Story Coworking, they're an amazing spot downtown Midland. It's like you're in Dallas or Austin. You know, it's a co-working space, and it's absolutely fantastic for Midland and to have something like that here locally. Also, we were just talking about the Entrepreneurial Challenge. Yes, that's kicking off here in September coming up, so business owners, get ready. It's always good times, it's always fun, it's always great awareness, right? Brand awareness. And just Josh mentioned, you go through it, even if you don't make it in and get some money, you're gonna learn something. You know, because you're having to put your ideas to pen and paper. You're having to go through that model in your head, create the business model. Right? That's what I teach all day long. Create your business model. If you create your business model, you can have a successful business. And then, BAM Entrepreneurial Center, we are hosting the Midland Hispanic Chamber of Commerce Mixer in honor of 16 Septiembre on Saturday, September 14th. So we're still looking for sponsors for that. We're just kicking that off and getting started. It's going to be here in Midland at the BAM Entrepreneurial Center on Big Spring Street. It's going to be fun. We're going to have a Latin fusion of different dishes from different Latin countries all together. We're going to have live music. We're going to have Tapville, mobile tap room. Pachucos is one of the food sponsors so far. We're looking for others. So come on out, it's gonna be fun. DJ Boogie is gonna be spinning, and we're gonna have a live band performing live Latin music. So, thank you everybody for coming. Hang around, connect, grab some more coffee. We gotta get rid of it, so drink it. All right, thank y'all very much. See y'all next one.